This is part 5 of my 12-part series celebrating the Karate Kid movie and going to all the filming locations. And it was inspired by Cobra Kai series, which I highly recommend you guys check out. And today we'll be looking at where the All Valley Karate Championships took place. So I made my way down to CSUN in Northridge, and it is a place called the Matadome Gym, which they now call the Redwood Hall. And things have changed since 1983 when they first filmed this movie here. So I'm walking around, and you will see the changes, so you get an idea that this is what it looks like outside the place. And this is where CSUN has all their basketball games. I think they have volleyball tournaments here. So like I said, it's now called the Redwood Hall, but the actual gym is called the Matadome. So as we're checking it out, like I haven't been to this campus in probably like 15 years myself. So we walk in, and you're seeing the inside. Like the inside, this is all changed and different from what it was back in the movie, as you see from right here. The configuration's a little bit different now. And here's all the trophies and championships that CSUN has won in the different sports played there. And there it is, the entrance, the actual entrance to the gym. And like I said, this is where all the fighting took place in the tournament from the Karate Kid. So they actually had a class in there, so I was like trying not to be too standing out too much, considering I'm walking around with a camera and I don't even belong to this school. So there it is. And that's how they had set this place up for the movie. And there was actually 2 different setups. That was the setup for all the basic fights, and then there's a different setup once they have the final championship rounds in the Karate Kid. Now, one of the things that people always talk about, and they bring it up in the Cobra Kai series, is the crane kick illegal? And I was looking at all that stuff, and it's like, well, why would it be illegal? Because, he kicks him to the face. But then, when Ali's explaining the rules to Daniel, she tells him that you can score a point, by kicking to the face. And actually, one of the first fights, actually the first match Johnny Lawrence has, he wins his first point by a kick to the face. And then the first match between Daniel and Dutch, he gets a point by kicking him to the face. So, you wonder, well, why would this have been illegal? And like I said, it's been debated for a while. And another time when Johnny sweeps a leg on Daniel in the final match, and then he kicks him to the face, gets a point. And then he gets a point also for punching to the face. So I was looking to think, why would the crane kick be illegal? Now, this is another gym that they have there. So I had to double check to make sure. And obviously, as you could see, this is not where any of the action from the movie took place. But I had to just show you what else is in this whole Redwood Hall. And so, like I was saying about the crane kick, I guess the only way it possibly could be legal, because I guess in a karate tournament, you can't use full force, and that would be the only reason that kick would be illegal. Other than that, the kick's not illegal itself, but maybe the way Daniel used full force on Johnny. But I mean, we all love that. So now I was looking for the locker room, and like I said, keep in mind, I'm not a student here, so I'm walking around. I'm a grown man walking around, standing out like a sore thumb, looking for the locker room, and I'm just looking around. Where's this at? And lo and behold, I find it. As I'm walking down this hallway, I'm like, I got to get the locker room, because so much action took place in the locker room, and that's where Mr. Miyagi worked his magic. And there it is, the men's locker room. So I went in there. Luckily, no one was in there, because that would be kind of weird if people were in there changing, and here I am holding a camera. So I walk around, and even in here, the configuration has changed and is very different from 1983. But like I said, we're in 2018. So give you an idea of all the lockers, how everything looks. There was the showers. And then right there's the spot from the movie. And like I said, they changed the configuration around, and they have the mats on the floor, the show the Matador mat. There's the bathroom. Then I came back out. So I just examined the whole locker room area because, like I said, it was such a vital part of the ending of this movie. And like I'm sorry, the footage is a little shaky. I just had to, like I didn't belong here, so I had to just get the footage I could. I was lucky to get it, and then I just had to get out. So I'm just, looking around for other parts of what's surrounding this whole Matadome gym. And like I said, they do volleyball and basketball, men's and women's there. So now I'm walking out of here, so you get the view that the view of walking out, which will come up to right around this corner. So you see some of their equipment that they store there. And so this is the back way into the gym that they used in the scene. Obviously, things were changed around differently. And there's Mr. Miyagi and Ali, and they were walking. That's when they're walking first to the tournament, and Ali hands the black belt to Daniel, and she explains the rules to him. And what's funny about that scene is that's one continuous shot when they walk in there like that. And in that one continuous shot, they had to get it right. So they actually did it 35 times. And it was actually what we call in the business a crane shot. So this was the second configuration that they reconfigured this gym into for, like I said, the final two matches. But as for that shot, it was done 35 times because there was so much going on that it all had to be choreographed, that everything had, all the actors, all the background, they had like 500 background, and then the main actors, and they all had to be on their marks at the same time when the Cobra Kai runs by Daniel, and they do their chant, and just everything had to be right. So it was 35 times they did that till they finally got it right. So like I said, this is the second setup that they used, but it's in the same place. And you see the referee right here. This referee, his name is Patty Johnson, and he was a referee in the movie. He was also the fight coordinator. He's the one that taught all the kids martial arts. Like Johnny Lawrence, William Sapka, he was a wrestler, but he didn't know martial arts. Obviously, Ralph Macchio didn't know anything. And so he taught all the guys martial arts, and he kept the Cobra Kai people separate from Ralph when they were training, because Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita, Mr. Miyagi, they were trained a different style of martial arts, while the Cobra Kai guys were trained a different style of martial arts. Well, another interesting fact about the ref here, Patty Johnson, also the fight coordinator, is he was a student of Chuck Norris, and he was actually in the movie Enter the Dragon. Now, he wasn't in any scenes with Bruce Lee, but he was in the movie, which is kind of cool. And he was the go-to guy for all the martial art movies made in the 80s that when they needed a fight coordinator. Now, the last scene of the movie, when you see Mr. Miyagi smiling, that wasn't going to originally be the last scene. The last scene of the movie was going to actually take place in the parking lot. This opening scene for part 2 of The Karate Kid, that was supposed to be the last scene of this movie, but the director felt that once Daniel LaRusso got the trophy and he's being carried by all the people, that was the final scene. So they cut it there, and that was going to be the final scene. And then they went back and said, you know what, the final scene should be Mr. Miyagi smiling in satisfaction of what he's done, that he trained this kid that knew nothing and he won a tournament, his first tournament. And so then they changed that, and then that was the final scene. So it was some interesting information I found out myself. I didn't know. So as I'm going back out to give you guys an idea, again, what it looks like from outside. And like I said, I went and shot this earlier today, another beautiful day. And like I said, this was my part 5 of 12. And I actually hit all the locations, all the main locations in this movie. I have 2 more to film tomorrow, and I'm just going to continue putting these up, so you'll have all 12 parts up. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below, and I'll get back to you. And thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.
MrYorkieLoverFitness.com